Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have another crazy story time video for you. I figured it would be okay to film this because I've done 3 beauty videos for this week. I've had mixed opinions from you guys on Instagram and Twitter. Some of you are dying to see beauty videos and some of you think that my story time videos and stuff are better. The beauty videos definitely don't get as many views because I'm not an experienced makeup artist, but I did kind of start out categorizing myself as a beauty channel. I think I'm kind of more everything now, but I did film some beauty videos for you guys for this week, so I wanted to film this story time video for you today. It's about a crazy ass night that I had. I'm trying to remember exactly, but I think it was about 4 years ago when I was 19. I went to EDC. If you guys don't know what that is or you don't live in Cali or Las Vegas, it's a humongous rave. There's such amazing DJs and artists there like Benny Benassi, David Guetta. When I went, Little John came out. There's so many crazy people. It's insane, but there's also a lot of people who are so high and crossfaded and on drugs and drinking and stuff. It's a crazy scene. I'm very happy that I didn't continue to be a part of that rave life. But I did get so crazy this night, way too crazy. This is not the type of person that I am. Disclaimer, you guys know I'm a mom now. This was a long time ago. It was I feel like I'm defending myself because I said this in my last video about a bad date that I had because I was drinking as well. But it's all good. I can own up to what I did in the past because it's over and I do not do a damn thing like this anymore. Hello, because I'm a mom, but it did make for a really fun, crazy, scary, dangerous night. And I just figured hello, I'll share it with you guys because personally, I love watching storytime videos. I especially like watching Brittany Saunders, and she has really funny storytime videos as well. So yeah, I wanted to share it with you guys. If you're new, please subscribe to my channel. And yeah, let's get started. This was about 4 years ago when EDC was super popular. I believe now they've moved it to Las Vegas because in California it was getting way too crazy. People were breaking rules. There was so many people who were sent to the hospital. People were dying because they're tripping out on drugs and stuff. But when I did go, it was in California. So it was in Northern California in LA, and I went and stayed in a hotel with some friends and the guy that I was dating at that time. And at this time, I didn't really drink that much. So when I did drink, it hit me very hard, way too hard. And that night, driving up to the hotel, we were making beads in the car, making the rave bracelets and stuff. And I was so excited because it was one of my first raves. And I just wanted to fit in, and I had this skimpy little outfit. Looking back, it was not the business, right? But at the time, you want to fit in, and EDC was a huge craze, and everyone was going. My boyfriend was going, his friends were going, so I was yeah, I'm gonna go, okay? I don't even think I told my mom the truth about where I was going because I was still living at home and I needed her permission to go up there and stuff, and I needed I don't know if I was working or if I needed to borrow money from her or whatever, but I don't know. I don't really remember what I ended up telling her that I was up there doing. Not the truth though. So anyways, it was a 2-day event, so we did get a hotel in Los Angeles, and as soon as we got there, we started drinking. I just remember there was a bunch of different juices and vodka, and we were just taking shots like crazy. And I'm the type of person, the first hour that I drink, I can't feel it because it's still settling into my system. But then when it hits me real hard. And this was back, like I said, when I was younger. I didn't really know my alcohol tolerance and I didn't drink very much. So when I did, any little type of alcohol really hit me. So I think I took 3 or 4 shots of vodka, which the story gets so much worse. But even at that, it's really bad. For me, it's just a no. And then my friend, we'll call him Paul, I guess. I don't know if these people are gonna watch this video. I don't want to put their privacy out there. We'll call him Paul. He's oh, I made some brownies. Do you want one? Me being my young self, I'm oh, sure, give me one. Hashtag weed brownies. So I think I had 2 of those. And I remember in the hotel, sitting on my boyfriend's lap, we were all sitting around in a circle, just eating the brownies and other crazy food that we had, taking shots. And then I finally started to feel it a little bit. And I was yeah, let's walk over to EDC. Let's get this done. We didn't want to take a cab or a taxi or anything because it was pretty close to our hotel. So we went out on the street and started walking there. On the way there, I remember the alcohol hit me so hard. I just remember trying to hold on to my boyfriend's hand and telling him, I remember tapping him on the shoulder and telling him hey, don't let me go. I don't feel good right now. Please hold my hand. And it was such a bummer that I had to get so drunk before the show had even started because EDC was gonna go for the whole night and the next day. And I was already feeling crazy. I should have known my limits and stuff. But like I said, I didn't drink very much beforehand in life, so I didn't really know. So I was holding onto his hand. We were walking down to the venue. There were so many people on the streets in like bikinis and rave clothes, and like no one had on like a real outfit. If you guys know the rave scene, it's very like skimpy. And I just remember them being like, hey, let's go into this gas station and we'll get like some munchies for like on the way for the walk that we have. So we went into like a 7-Eleven or a Shell station or something like that. And I was in the bathroom. I was like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom. So I went to the bathroom. I remember sitting on the toilet and I think I blacked out for like 5 or 10 minutes. And then I just woke up on the toilet and I looked around and I was like, I just remember in my head, I was like, oh fuck, like I just blacked out, like shit. So then I just like got myself back up and I like made it out of the bathroom. I slowly found my boyfriend. I remember that I bought like hot Cheetos and I found him and I was like, hey, like I'm so sorry. Like I literally think I just blacked out. Like everything was like getting to my head and like seeping into my system and I just did not feel good. Well, I was still at the point where I was feeling good and I was like dancing and in a good mood, but I could definitely feel my body being so weird and just like out of place. I had never felt that before. I had never smoked weed before. I had never done anything like that. Like I am definitely not about that life. But that night, I guess I was just like, whatever, like give me whatever. Like no pills or anything though. I did not pop any pills. Swear it like on my son's life. I will not do that. But so I remember finding my friends and they bought some snacks too, and then we were heading into the venue. And then there were so many people at the venue, like the line took us like hours to get inside. People were like jumping over the fences. There was a lot of people who their knees and their arms got scraped up and bloody because the line was too long. They didn't want to wait to go in the venue, so they would sneak around the side and they would jump up these metal fences. And then I remember that a bunch of vans pulled up from the LA News and they were like filming it because it was like a crazy thing. They were filming people being taken to the hospital because they would jump over the fences and they would get all bloody, and like it was crazy. Like people took EDC so seriously. It was at the LA Coliseum, I believe it's called, which holds thousands of people, but the line to get in just literally took forever and some people were not having it, and if they were on drugs or whatever, they weren't thinking properly, they just tried to sneak their way in there. There was so much security, like it was literally crazy. So we got into the event. And then I remember that we lost one of our friends, but before we lost him, we were actually in line to like pick up our tickets, and I had this backpack on. It had like a little koala on it. I ended up losing that backpack that night. I ended up losing my wallet, which had my ID, my debit card, 2 credit cards. Still to this day, I don't know who took my backpack because for like the next hour or 2 of this event, I was like blacked out. I was like alive, obviously, like dancing. I don't know what I was doing, like hanging out with my boyfriend, like, but I do not remember. There's like 2 hours of that night that I just don't remember because I had put so much shit into my body. I literally do not remember like being out on the lawn dancing to the music. Like I only remember from like 11 o'clock on, like when we first got there at like 8 p.m. or something. I don't like even looking back, like I don't remember that time, and that sucks to say. Like I will never obviously smoke weed again, ever, because hello, I have my kid. Even if I didn't have my kid, it's not a good life decision. I would highly like not recommend that you guys do this. I'm just telling you this because it was like a crazy story for me. But that is the only time in my life that I can look back on a night and say, hey, I truly do not remember what happened that night. And that's scary. Like nothing crazy happened. I wasn't like abused or anything. My boyfriend at the time, we were like so in love with each other. He's gone now, but he really did take care of me and stuff, so we were fine. But then we ended up losing our friend, Paul. He ended up taking a taxi back to our hotel like 4 a.m. and he like snuck in, and we were all so relieved. We thought he had like died or like drug overdosed or something. He was popping pills that night. He was like a crazy ass. Like he's not one of my good friends nowadays, but it was just fun to hang out with them at the time. And then this other girl who also went with us, she had a bunch of those weed brownies at the beginning and she was drinking, and then she ended up fainting at EDC and an ambulance had to come get her. This was during the portion of the night where I was blacked out as well. Well, I was still like dancing and I was like alive, but in my head I was like so drunk that I don't remember anything, so I don't even remember when she fainted or like what happened to her. And then they took her in an ambulance, back to the hospital. For the rest of the trip, we didn't even see her. She didn't come back and sleep with us. They obviously kept her at the hospital overnight. And we later found out that that LA hospital was so booked that night, all because of EDC, because people were overdosing on drugs and like crazy stuff. I just wanted to go to have a good time, to hear the music, to like see what the rave scene was about, and I got sucked into like drinking and stuff, which I should not have done. But there's people on so many more like crazy levels who are doing drugs and like crazy stuff. Like these raves are really scary. Like it's crazy to look back on. I would never ever want my kid to go through something like that. Like if you want to go for the music, that's awesome, but just know that the rave crowd is very intense, and a ton of them do crazy drugs and stuff. It's just like insane. So we were hearing like Benny Benassi, David Guetta, Little John came out. He was one of the guests. There truly was amazing music. I do remember I loved the music. The whole Coliseum was filled up. It was sold out, and it was like so expensive to go to EDC. It was like a few $100, plus everyone had to pay to stay in hotels. So it was definitely like a very expensive trip, but it was so popular that it was sold out. So I just remember not really knowing what was happening for a few hours that night. And then I just remember dancing the night away with my boyfriend. We ended up losing all of our friends. At the end of the night, it was just me and my boyfriend. At that point, like when we were walking there on the way to EDC, it didn't seem very far, but on the way back, it definitely seemed like a long cab ride, and it was like really expensive too, like waste of money. And then we went back to the hotel, and it was just me and him, and we're like, holy shit, where are our friends? Like, did they get lost? Come to find out, one of them was like in the hospital. The other one, Paul, he took a taxi back to the hotel room at like 4 p.m. Apparently he was up like on the VIP booth, like the VIP patio thing that they had on the top of the building the whole night with some other guy, which like we didn't even know. It was so funny. All night we're like, where is he? Turns out he like found this guy he was like in love with, and he was like on the top of the patio. So we lost him. I lost my backpack, my debit card, my cash, everything. It was just like literally crazy. I met so many people that night, like crazy people who were just like crazy on drugs and like just really insane stuff. It was a very scary crowd to be in. At one point I did lose my boyfriend, so I was by myself for maybe like an hour. That was like the scariest hour of my life, because everyone around you is just like tripping out, and you don't want to feel like you're by yourself. Hello. So that was scary. And then I remember the next morning we all slept in. We woke up at like noon the next day because we were all like literally exhausted and like still intoxicated, and we went to Subway. And then the next night we did it all again. Like the next night was crazy because we didn't really lose each other, and we didn't like get too crazy. Like I didn't get too drunk because the first night was just like too much. But yeah, it was a 2-day event. We ended up staying for the whole event, and it was just really crazy. That was the first time, like I said, that I ever looked back on a night and I don't remember, like legit do not remember a thing about a few hours of that night. And that's a crazy feeling, because it's like, what the hell happened to me? But I do know my boyfriend told me he was with me the whole time, and I was like safe, but I don't know like what the hell I was saying or like how crazy I was. And at some point someone took my backpack off my back, or maybe I set it down or whatever, but it definitely got stolen. I found out that those credit cards had gotten used. I had to like reverse some of the charges, and then I had to order all new cards, of course, which is always a pain in the ass. So that sucked. It was just like a completely crazy night. I've never done anything like super, super crazy in my life, so I guess this would be like one of the craziest nights I've ever had, definitely. And yeah, it was insane. I did end up going to like Beyond Wonderland and a few other raves after that, with my friend Samantha, actually, who's still one of my best friends. She's like my sister. But I never hung out with that other like crazy crowd again, because I just didn't like the decisions they were making, and I didn't like how I ended up feeling that night. But it was definitely like a crazy time. And then they moved EDC to Las Vegas because in California it was too crazy. Like people, like I said, were getting hurt, drug overdose, like all this crazy stuff. So they ended up moving it to Vegas. If you want to attend the festival now, I believe it's still in Vegas. So it was definitely like a crazy night for me. So yeah, it's like crazy to like remember all that, because I am so not about that life anymore, like at all. I never was. I just kind of was like for that night. I don't know, but yeah, that's it. What have you guys done that's like super crazy? Like what would be like the most crazy thing you've ever done? I want to know. Leave me a comment below. Thank you guys so much for watching this little story time video. If you are new or you did like this video, please subscribe. I know sometimes I'll find video suggestions on the side of YouTube, and I'll click on someone's video and I really like them, and then I close out my window and I forgot to subscribe, just because I know it's like sometimes you just need a reminder. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy it, I would really appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up if you would like more like story time videos. And yeah, I appreciate your guys' support as always. I love you, and I will see you in my next video.